doing a great job of trying to buy in and figure out what we're talking about out there, and just really just trying to gel as a team and just pick up on our new terminology and just maybe our new some of our new philosophies and things like that. And they've done a great job of just trying to really take it in and absorb as much as possible. I think it's difficult sometimes when you have a new coach come in, and particularly when you have so many upperclassmen. I think sometimes that's hard for them to adjust and adapt, but they've done a great job, and it's just really exciting. And you know, we do have several injuries that we need to get well so that our depth will be a little bit better. But other than that, I've been really pleased with where we are.
Coach, what has been the biggest challenge for you so far?
You know, probably just we've just kind of hit the ground running since April, and with the new rules that have come in for the summer where we can practice them and things like that, I just feel like maybe we were a little behind in recruiting, just because, you know, when you're hired in April, it's a little bit difficult. But I think just trying to get to a point where I feel like we're caught up, whether it be with the team on the floor right now, or recruiting, or you know, just trying to get to a point where we feel like we're kind of in control and everything's going our way. Everything has been great. I mean, I think the kids have worked really hard, and I think that our recruiting has really been good for the most part. I think it's just that feeling as a coach that you feel like you're always behind, and so I think that's probably been the biggest challenge. Otherwise, I've had so many doors open for me just being at UTA that I haven't had in the past, that has been really, really nice to be able to work in that environment. So it's been really good.
Let her go first.
Okay. What's been the biggest difference coming from West Texas A&M to UTA?
You know, it's funny because I've coached at Division I's before. I played at Division I, and then I went to a Division II and really grew a great appreciation for that level of basketball and for those types of athletes and those types of things. But it's amazing when you're a Division I school and program, the doors that it opens for you. I think the biggest challenge is that when kids answer the phone and they hear that I'm from UT Arlington, you know, they get excited and they talk back and they want to be a part of that. And so I think that has been the biggest change, is just the doors that have opened, and the fact that we do have kids wanting to come here, and us trying to line them up and see if we can get the best fit for our program.
What's the biggest change you've seen in your team so far?
You know, I think probably just their toughness. I think just from day one when we had them in the spring, we had a couple of early morning practices when I first got the job, and it was a struggle. You know, it was a struggle just, and it's spring too, you have to give them that, but you know, I think they've gotten themselves in a lot better conditioning, and I think that makes a world of difference. And the fact that they are at a higher level of condition and that they can play harder for a longer period of time, I think they're surprising themselves at just how long they can go, how hard they can play, and how successful they can be.
What type of identity or philosophy are you bringing in from West Texas A&M that's different than from what they had last year?
Well, I don't know that I can speak for what they've had here previously, but I think what I bring and what I try to bring and instill in my players is just a never say die attitude, and that we want them to be super tough on the court. We want them to be the best and the brightest on the court and off the court, and I think that they'll be fighters. You know, I want to establish that they know that they're always in a ball game. It doesn't matter what the score is. They're going to continue to fight. They're going to continue to play hard, and I think that they have seen a change in discipline, and that they want that. I think that they crave that a little bit, that they like being held accountable. I think sometimes it frustrates them because they're like, oh, we have to do it again, you know, but at the same time, they get it right. And when they get it right, it makes them feel good. And I think, too, that just the fact that they want to win, you know, I think that we bring a winning mentality, and we just accept nothing less, and hopefully that's what we're instilling in them.
Coach, talk a little bit about some of the new players coming into the system this year and the development you've seen from them so far leading up to the season.
Okay. Well, I would say just in our freshman class, and we have 2 in our freshman class, Allie Teo has probably been, I would say probably the brightest spot of our newcomers just because she's a true freshman. And a lot of times freshmen really struggle with just the speed of the game or the strength of the game and whatnot. And she has just come in and really fought hard, and I think she's probably squats more than anybody on our team, which is impressive for a freshman. She really battles on the boards, and she's a sponge out there. If you tell her one thing, she immediately gets it and applies it and continues to work hard. I don't think there's ever been a day where I've had to get after her about effort. She just has done a really nice job, and I'm expecting some really good things from her in the future. I think Morgan Hunt, who has come in as a transfer from Colorado State, she'll have to sit this year, but that's probably the most impressive thing about her is that you would never guess that she's in her redshirt year, or whatever you want to call it, her transfer year, because she is going super hard out there. She's playing every possession, every second she's on the court, she's playing as hard as she can, and I have challenged our other girls to recognize that we're going to get that same effort out of her every single day, and she's not going to get to play 1 minute for us this year. And that's really going to help us in our practices. It's really going to help us. So she's been a pleasant surprise, and also just what she does for us locally. She's a local kid that went away to college and then has come back, and the things that she can tell recruits in this area that we want to try to stay at home or try to keep at home, she has done a really good job of being that voice for us, of saying, hey, it's not all it's cracked up to be to go away from home, and it's really fun to stay here where your friends and family can cheer you on. And I think also our attendance is probably going to rise quite a bit just from having her on our roster. You know, I think she's got a big following, so that's nice. Talia Pope and Amara Wainwright, and they are both junior college transfers that have come in, and they're both injured. And so Talia, we will get back, and she's going to really help us defensively. She's a big guard. She'll be our biggest guard that we put on the perimeter. She's about 5'11", and just her athleticism is going to really help us on our press and on the defensive part of it. Amara, we actually lost for the season with a knee injury, and so that really stinks because she was a really good shooter that we desperately needed, and so that's really going to hinder us a little bit. But she's a great kid and has a great work ethic, and we'll certainly work really hard in rehab to get back out on the court. Taylor Caspers was a really late sign for us, but she is a post transfer from New Mexico Junior College. She's out of California, and she's gonna be able to do some good things. I'm really proud of the way that she's come in and gotten herself in shape. She has a big frame and a big presence inside for us, and has a lot to learn. And it's hard to forget or it's hard to remember that she's really pretty young and new to the college game because she's a sophomore. She just played 1 year at the junior college, so that's been really tough. I think for us to know as coaches and to kind of cut her a little bit of slack because we're expecting her to know a little bit more than maybe she does. But she's really gotten herself in decent shape, and that's been nice because I think she's really going to be able to help Dee Dee just inside with some of the big struggles that we're going to have, or the big assignments, I guess, that we may have on defense. I think Taylor can come in and give Dee Dee a break a couple of times, a couple of minutes. That'll really help us. I have a roster in front of me. Allie Harris. Allie Harris is a freshman that's come in, and she's actually been out for quite a while for a back injury, but we will have her back. But she is a shooter that will allow us to put her on the perimeter and maybe get the defense out of the paint for Dee Dee some. And I think just her work ethic and her personality is really fun to have around, and she brings that to the table every day in practice.
Talk about the leadership on the team. What girls have you really seen step up this fall?
Well, I have to say that just even the senior class, I've been really, really proud of them. And I've said this numerous times, but I think whenever you have a new coach and it's your senior season, it's really, really hard. And you kind of have two choices, and you have, you know, it's you can jump in with both feet and go with it and see what you can do, or you can fight it tooth and toenail and not have a good season at all, and it might be the worst season you've ever had. And I would say that all 4 of our seniors have jumped in with both feet and said, let's go. What I've been most proud of is since April 15th, with the exception of Bree, the other 3 seniors have not missed a beat. They haven't missed a practice. They haven't. They have really gotten themselves in shape. When we've had those really, really tough practices where, you know, you might have someone quit, or not necessarily quit the team, but maybe quit in a drill or something like that. Every time my eyes rose up, those were the ones that were finishing first or fighting through or encouraging someone else. And I just think that's really important for our team success, for any team success, that your seniors have that leadership. But I'm really proud of those 4 girls for kind of banding together and believing in us and wanting to make the most of it. And I would say that Bree has been a great surprise, just because she's coming back from having a baby, and she's in great shape. I mean, she's really put herself in a position to help us and to have a great year. And just knowing that she has been through all that has made her a lot tougher.
Can you talk about what you think about the upcoming schedule?
Yes, I can. Well, to begin with, I really like our schedule. I mean, I think that's probably one of the first things I did when I was even interviewing for the job, was to look at the schedule and to see what they had in place. And it actually, I think it's a very good schedule, and I didn't have anything to do with it. I mean, it was already done when I got here, and I think it's solid. I think it certainly has its challenges on it, but at the same time, I think it's winnable. You know, OU and OSU are going to be super tough. I mean, those are going to be 2 games that especially so early. I mean, Oklahoma State's the 2nd game of the year, but it's also their 2nd game of the year, you know, and those are sometimes when you can catch somebody by surprise. And I think it's going to be a great challenge for us to see where we are right off the bat. The other, you know, I like the fact that we go open up at Houston Baptist. That's a game that we need to really concentrate on and really focus and try to do our very best at getting that W, just to get on the right foot. I mean, everybody wants to win their opener. And then we come back home and we play, I think, Incarnate Word is our first home game. And that's a team I'm very familiar with because they were in our conference at WT, and they're transitioning into Division I, and so is Abilene Christian. So those are 2 teams that I'm really familiar with. So, but I know that they're pretty good too. So I know that we're going to have our work cut out for us. But you know, I like the schedule. I think it's got some teams on it that I'm familiar with, just from even my time at Texas Tech and then at UTSA when we were in the Southland. Some of those coaches are the same, so I think that I'll be familiar with some of those teams. But I do think we're in a situation where it doesn't scare me. You know, I don't look at it and think, wow, you know, we're in trouble. I really think that we can take one game at a time and see what we're made of.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.